Hey everyone, this is Charles again with the Pamper Chef Merced. I was doing a little something for dinner this evening, and I thought, what the heck, I might as well make a video of it. I'm just going to kind of go out throughout my day, just kind of prepping it, letting things just kind of get their flavors and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some barbecued chicken kebabs. I'm going to wrap the chicken in bacon. I'm going to add veggies to the kebabs. You can use any veggies that you want. Me personally, today I'm using... on the kebab, we'll have bacon wrapped chicken, we'll have green bell pepper, some yellow onion, and some chunks of pineapple. So what I'm going to do first is, since it's so early in the afternoon, I'm going to go ahead and marinate my chicken. What you should want to do, you can cut the chicken any way you want. If you're going to wrap it in bacon, it's always good to have it cut long ways. You can cut it long ways so it's like this, so that way it's easier to wrap everything around, plus the skewer can go down long ways into it. If you want to make little chunks out of it, that's fine too. It might be a little more tedious to wrap the bacon around the chicken. If you're not thinking of using bacon, these still work great on the kebabs. So what I did is I just kind of lightly seasoned it with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I put it into a mixture of some teriyaki marinade. Then I added a little bit of soy sauce, and then I added some of this Panda brand oyster flavored sauce. I'm also going to make it with fried rice, so it's going to be barbecue chicken kebabs on a better fried rice. And this is really good to use in fried rice as well. So, like I said, I took about 12 ounces, so almost a pound of chicken. Cut the breasts up; they were individual breasts. Got them at Costco. Cut them up into these strips. Got it inside my marinade. But you can't really have a marinade and with chicken and barbecue without adding some lemon to it. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys this citrus press. These things are only 19 bucks. They're great. They're solid. They're a solid material. They're not going to break on you or anything like that. This is a half a lemon. Now this just isn't a store-bought lemon. This is the kind that you get off of your neighbor's tree, which I did. The ones that grow the really ridiculously huge size, and you wonder how come you never see those in the store. So the diameter of the press is actually pretty good. I've squeezed lemons, limes, oranges, all that good stuff. What I like to do is, so that way none of the seeds get in what you're doing, is however I'm cutting it, I'll always put the open side of the lemon, lime, or orange face down in it like this. So that way the bumpy part is sticking up just like that. Because when I push down on it, I don't want the juices to come back up at me or anything like that. So I'm going to keep it face down, and all you do is you're just going to give it a squeeze. When you start to see the insides of the lemon or the lime or orange or whatever you're doing coming out, then you know you pretty much reached it. A good rule of thumb is always take it from the side and always tip it over. Lemons don't really have that much fluid in it to do that, but when you do oranges, and I've had to squeeze oranges for like different recipes, there's always like a puddle of it, so it's always good just to turn on this side. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how I cut the vegetables for this. We're going to cut the vegetables that I'm going to do, and we're going to cut the fruit that I'm going to add on the kebabs as well. I'm going to pull out my little handy dandy Pamper Chef cutting board. This is actually the regular cutting board. They have a couple of them. They have the bar, they call it the bar board, which is a little smaller, which is kind of more seen like in bars, to cut limes and stuff like that. Many different kinds of cutting boards on the Pamper Chef. So if that's what you're in the market for, definitely check it out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have bell peppers and I'm going to have onions. So what I did was I got my bell peppers and I got my onions. I'm not going to really take time because I'm sure you all know how to do it. So basically I just want to cut it in little squares. And then I'm going to cut the onion in wedges. It's okay because we're going to have these little rings, because what we're going to do is we're going to end up breaking them off. And you probably use about 3 to 4 rings of onion in between each slot on the kebab, so that's going to come in really handy. So no big secret behind it. Just cut it in wedges or any way that you want to stick it on the barbecue or on the skewer. So that's what we have for our veggies. I got this, and I'm going to stick this to the side in the refrigerator. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to cut our pineapple. The little knife that I use is the one that comes in the starter kit. The knives that Pamper Chef has to offer are great. I've been a chef for 15 years, and I've had a lot of flimsy knives come and go. These are great because they're German forged steel. They're not riveted or glued to the handle. It's actually one piece of metal going all the way from the tip of the knife all the way down to the bottom of the handle. They're very lightweight. They got a nice grip on it. They look fancy, and all of them come with a cover. So the cover is always gonna be right here. If it makes you bleed, it's gonna have a sleeve. It keeps a picture of it, so that way it's really organized. So if you have multiple knives, you know which goes in where. These things are great. So on a side note, I've had mine for almost a year, and it still does not need to be sharpened yet. And I use my knife 3 to 4 times a week making dinner. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut in the pineapple. You can use canned pineapple if you want. It's entirely up to you. Me personally, if I can get it from the nature source, I'd rather get it that way. So I went out and I got me my own pineapple. Now they do have like pineapple corer and peeler items and products on Pampered Chef. I personally do not own any of them, but it's not that I wouldn't want to. It's just I don't really slice that much fruit in that way, especially with a pineapple. But if you eat a lot of pineapple, that would be great. It takes off the skin for you, and it cuts out the core inside the middle. So what we're going to do today, though, is we're just going to cut it into little squares. And so we're going to cut the tips off it. And I'll just do 1/2, just to kind of give you an idea. I won't make you sit through me having to slice up this whole pineapple for the meal, but I'm just going to give you the general idea of it. Good way to do it as a start is by cutting it in half. By cutting it in half, what it's going to do is it's going to help us take off the skin part, because it's going to let us see exactly where it all. I mean, you can peel it as a whole if you wish. I'm just trying to help you guys out and give you the easiest way possible. So basically, you've cut down far enough is when those little, I don't know what you'd call them, little stemmy type things aren't really protruding out anymore. You just want to take all those away, and that's how you know you've cut enough of the skin off. So now what we're going to do is, since we have that, is we're just going to cut it just like we did our onions, and we're going to cut it in wedges. You can cut them in squares, however you like it. I like to do it on the barbecue because it gives me 2 flat sides, so when I have to rotate the kebabs, it makes it easier, so like I don't turn it and you walk away and the thing just easily rolls back over and it burns one side. So I'm going to cut it. So what I did was I cut the pineapple in half, I cored it, or I skinned it. I then cut that part in half. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half again. So I'm going to get 1/4 of it. And it's going to give us these nice little wedges. And then what we're going to do from the wedges is you're just going to cut them off into little pieces. You can make them as big or as small as you want. There's no rule. When it comes to cooking, there's only basic rules you follow. The rest of it is all imagination. The awesome thing about using pineapple in your barbecue is pineapple has a lot of sugar to it. So when sugar heats up, it starts to caramelize and it starts to have more of like a candy, like a sweet flavor. So I really enjoy doing this. I also have a recipe for brandy soaked barbecue pineapple. Maybe in the coming days, as summer winds down, I'll have to go buy a bottle of brandy, and maybe I can put the recipe on there and show you guys that. Even if you enjoy that recipe, you can do the same with this. You can soak all of this before you put the skewers together, and it still give you that sweet taste. So there you go. You got your pineapple. It's cut into little wedges, just like that. Or probably what I'm most likely going to do is I'm going to take the skewer and I'm going to put it in long ways like this, so that way I have sides to lay on the barbecue. Okay, just on a little side note, instead of buying my own teriyaki sauce to glaze as I'm barbecuing the chicken, I'm just going to go ahead and make my own. I found a really awesome recipe. I really like the way it tastes. If you're anything like me that have almost anything in your kitchen when it comes to spices, you probably already have most of the stuff in your cupboard already. So I'm just going to show you how to throw it together really quick. What we're going to do first is we're going to start off with just a pot to do it all in, and I put 1 tablespoon of water. After the tablespoon of water, I'm going to put 1/2 cup of soy sauce. Now, it makes it really easy to measure this is because I have the Easy Read measuring cups. They actually come 3 in a set. They come in a 1 cup, a 2 cup, which is what I have, and 4 cups. $23.50 for the 3 of them. Can't beat that. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. And you know what, on a side note, a good thing about these things is on most measuring cups, you always have to put it down and kind of look to the side and see where your measurement's at. All these measurements are already on the inside. So you just leave it level and you just add whatever, and it's so much easier to read. So I got a tablespoon of water. I'm going to go ahead and put 1/2 cup of soy sauce. And then from there, I'm going to use some. I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. And then after the apple cider vinegar, what we're going to do is we're going to add some garlic. What I have here is one of my most favorite items that I possess of Pampered Chef, and that is the garlic press. I'm a big garlic freak. I love having garlic in almost anything and everything. These things are great. They pretty much mince the garlic down. Even if you didn't take the skin off the garlic, when you push it down, the skin's going to stay inside, and it's not even going to come out. They're perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do 2 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to smash them down just like that. It comes with a little handy dandy tool. It helps to clean and scrape it all off. You just take the ends and you're just going to scrape them all down. What I like to do is after it's done, I'll kind of open it up on the inside. See how it kind of kept all the skin and everything on the inside? Wonderful. I don't mind smelling like garlic, but if you're one of those people that don't like smelling like garlic, it limits how much you actually have to touch the garlic. So you don't have those stinky garlic hands, but me personally, I love stinky garlic hands. So we got our garlic, got it minced down. What else are we gonna do now? We're gonna do a teaspoon of some black pepper. Now these things are also one of my most favorite and cherished items that Pampered Chef has. These are the adjustable measuring spoons. They come both in a set for $8.50. Oh my goodness. You basically get to replace all these things that you keep in your drawer that always get lost and you can never seem to find the one that you need. Boom, right here. 2 things, that's all you need. What it does is the big one goes from 1 tablespoon to 1 teaspoon, so you just move it along and you adjust it to however much you want. The little one goes from 1 teaspoon all the way up to 1/8 of a teaspoon. So if you're a big baker like I am, I love baking stuff, and you have to get down to that 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt or baking soda, this is your item to go to. So what we're going to do is we're going to do pepper. We're going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. So I'm just going to grab the pepper. I'm going to set it at 1/4. I'm just going to dip it in my little, boom. How easy is that? So 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. So I don't have to go look for another thing. I just simply, boom. I just simply move it. Boom, baby, just like that. So we're just going to dip it in here. Ground ginger. Love ginger. It's so good for you. It's good health-wise. We're just going to drop that in there as well. Okay, so we got our pepper, we got our ginger, we got our garlic, we got our vinegar, we got our soy sauce. Now what we're going to do is we're going to need 1/2 cup of some sugar. Can't have soy sauce or teriyaki glaze without sugar. So we got 1/2 cup of sugar. And then the last thing we need to do is do our cornstarch, and that's going to be 1 tablespoon. So we're going to get the bigger one, we're going to bust that down like this. And the reason why you don't want to heat it up right away is because cornstarch needs to dissolve in cold water. So you have to have all this stuff cold when you put your cornstarch in, because if you do it when it's hot and you get your liquids already boiling and stuff like that, all your cornstarch is going to do is going to clump up on you, and then you're going to have this god-awful mess. So, tablespoon of cornstarch. Cornstarch is what's going to make it thicken up for us. So then basically this is what we're going to have to work with. A nice little concoction made up like that. And we're just going to whisk it all together. And after we whisk it, we're just going to throw it on the stove at a medium heat. I don't know, probably from anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. Once it starts to boil, you'll see it start to kind of thicken up and just kind of tighten up. That's when you can turn off the flame, maybe just leave it in the pot. If you got to let it sit there for a while, just let it do its thing for about 5 minutes. Put it in a container, refrigerate it, and it'll thicken up nice and tight, and it'll be a perfect glaze to brush on our chicken for later on. So that's it. So you mix all that together. Like I said, you put it on a low heat, and you keep your eye on it. Don't take your eye off the ball, and you'll be good to go. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the kebabs. My chicken has been marinating in the refrigerator for probably about, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 hours. What I did is I got some bacon. I also wanted to use this as a good chance to show the cutting board that I use has actual measurements. So if you're one that doesn't really know when somebody says, oh, they need to be you know, a quarter of an inch long, or you know, can you julienne this onion, you know, at, you know, an inch and a half or something like that. These are, one side is done in inches, one side is done in centimeters. So you have gauge right there, so you don't even have to have extra things. It's already built in. Plus on these boards, they got like the rubber pieces that have the measurements on it, which keep it from slipping around. See? So anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my bacon. I measured it out, so it's actually about 3 inches. So I'd go 3 inches, and then I'd make a cut. And then go another 3 inches, 1, 2, 3, and cut. Okay. So I'm going to grab me a skewer. Now the skewers, I got kind of the cheaper ones at the store. So these ones you might want to soak in water. You don't want them to burst into flames or catch on fire. They do make some types of sticks that you can find in several different stores that won't burn up as fast. But I just went ahead and got these ones. So I'm going to go ahead and take my skewer. It's been soaking in water for about 20 minutes now. I'm going to bring over my chicken. I'm going to grab a good piece of chicken. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get the chicken, and I want to fold the bacon over the chicken just like that. I'm going to leave the bottom of the chicken though exposed. That's not going to be wrapped in bacon, because when it cooks, I want some part of the chicken, because I don't want the bacon to be wrapped around it. Cook the heck out of the bacon and then the chicken's still raw. I don't like that. I don't like taking chances with when it comes down to cooking chicken. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it folds over the sides just like that, because then we're going to take the skewer and we're just going to poke it in there. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to build one of my skewers. There is no, there is no set way to do your kebabs. It's just however you want to do it, however you think it looks nice. Me coming from a restaurant background, I tend to have a little bit of, I like it to look good, somewhat. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to take an onion. And I'm going to grab some of the onions that I had, and it's just like I told you, just a couple of rings. And I'm just going to take it from the small end out, and I'm going to push it through. Your onions might crack on you, but it's okay. As long as it holds, you're good, because when it grills, it's all going to work out for you. If it falls off on the grill, you know what? Life happens sometimes. So what we're going to do is we got an onion on one end. We're going to make sure we poke through the bacon on one end, and we're going to slide it through the chicken, and we're going to make sure that it goes all the way through. And we're just going to bring it down. You can kind of straighten it out after that. Okay, and then after that, we're going to put on a bell pepper. Now these are just the little squares that we cut off earlier. So you're going to have the bell pepper just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a piece of pineapple. If I get my fingers to work. And then we're going to put a piece of pineapple right there. And then after the pineapple, we're going to put one more bell pepper. Oops, the onion already fell off. It's alright, we can just sneak around the back. When all else fails, sneak through the back. Okay, so we got those, and then we're going to need another piece of chicken. So we're going to grab a piece of chicken, make sure that we do it long ways so we get the skewer through it. Make sure it goes through the bacon, through the chicken. Come like that, and then we're going to end it just the way we started it, with onion, just like that. And you can space it out so that way everything kind of cooks evenly. So what I did on my kebab is I have onion, bacon wrapped chicken, bell pepper, pineapple, and then we just start the process all over again backwards. Bell pepper, bacon wrapped chicken, and onion. It's going to be just like that. So when we have our kebabs, we're just going to have this to throw in the grill. You can prep these at any time. You can do it, or the early morning if you're gonna barbecue. Like I'm gonna barbecue probably another 4 hours. So I have my chicken marinate for a couple hours. I have all this stuff. I already have the glaze that we already made. That's already in the refrigerator, looking good. So all we basically got to do is wait till dinner time and heat up those coals. Okay, so I'm ready to get grilling. I got my chicken outside. It's all wrapped up. It's ready to go. I pulled out the teriyaki sauce that we made from scratch. It came out really nice. You can tell if it came out really good as if it looks more kind of like gel, like a glaze. Shouldn't be running like a sauce, but it should just kind of coat. See how you kind of have to bounce it down just to get it. So that's good consistency right there. I'm going to use the Pampered Chef silicone basting brush. These things are only $9.50 at Pampered Chef. They do have other various kinds. They also have one. It's the same as this. It's the really strong plastic with the grips on the side, so it doesn't slip out of your fingers. Tips are made out of silicone, so they're really easy to clean. Doesn't get all caught up and gunked up with stuff while you're using it. But they do have kinds that have like the bottle at the bottom, so instead of carrying it around in a container like this, you can fill up the bottom and just take that out to the barbecue with you, and you can just baste it like that, and it's already going to feed the stuff through it. Really awesome ideas. They got really big ones for like barbecues if you're doing like a whole chicken breast or something like that. It's really big for something like that. So let's head out to the grill. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our grill is hot enough. Coals should be white, fire shouldn't be going no more. I'm going to give it a quick spray of some non-stick just to kind of help it out a little bit. You don't want to fire it on there because it does have chemicals in it that makes fire, so you just want to kind of give it little spurts, maybe at an angle, just to kind of get the top of the grill coated with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it with the chicken side exposed down first. You can cook it, I guess, any way you want, but since it's the grill's freshly hot, I don't want to burn my bacon, so I'm going to go ahead and just put it down, face down on the grill. It's really hot, so always want to be careful when you're doing this. Okay, and once we got that all going on, we're just going to give everything a once over of the marinade. You don't have to coat too much of it. We just want to get it on there so that way when we flip it, it's already got its first coat of the marinade. As it starts to cook, that's when you really kind of want to lay on the marinade. And there you go. So we're just gonna let it sit there. I got my magic barbecue rock where it kind of allows me to regulate how hot and how whatnot. I make sure that all my vents are open so that way it's got steady airflow. So as you can see, we're probably about halfway through. What I'm doing is, I know there's some hotter parts than others on the grill. All grills are different. It also depends on how big you cut your chicken to how long it's going to take to cook. That's why I say to just kind of stand here and just kind of keep an eye on it. What I'm doing is I'm trying to cook the bacon side first. I put the chicken side down first, cooked that a little bit, flipped it over. Now I'm trying to brown it, and as it browns like this, I'm going to move it and I'm going to transfer it over to the back here. So that way it's at an indirect type of heat, and so that way chicken can keep cooking without overcooking the bacon as well. And then I'll just replace the skewers in the hot spots, as they go, and then eventually I'll just have all my skewers done and ready to go. All right, so we're pretty much done on these things. Took probably about a total of like 15-20 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick little brush with the homemade sauce that we made earlier. Yeah, so like I said, it took about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. It all depends on how hot your coals are, and barbecuing, like anybody will tell you, it's an exact science that only exists in your own backyard. Every person knows their own grill. I don't know how to explain it. Either way, we're done. So what we have is our bacon wrapped chicken kebabs. Nice, glazy. Bacon looks very done. Nice and brown. Chicken's is done, nice and firm. Vegetables are nicely cooked. Pineapple, nice and caramelized, has a nice little grill marks on it. So we're gonna go ahead and take this in the house, and we'll take a better look in the different lighting. So here's possibly a better look at what we're left with. I think it looks awesome. I can't wait to eat it. Serve it any way you want. It could be great just to have for this at a barbecue. I'm going to make some fried rice and put it on top of that. And I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did showing you how to make it. Enjoy.